Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for watching. Today we are in Dickson City, Pennsylvania. We are with the Pennsylvania Ambulance, and they are teaching EMT course, Basic Vehicle Rescue. Today we got a bunch of students going to be doing a whole bunch of rescues, so let's take a look and see how they're doing it. I want to thank everybody for watching today. We are in Dickson City, PA, up near Scranton. We're going to be taking a look at a day in the life of an EMT student doing basic vehicle rescue. Today's participants are coming from a class taught by Pennsylvania Ambulance. They are up here in Scranton area. They're one of the ALS and BLS services in the area. They teach EMT courses, which includes this basic vehicle rescue. Now remember, today is going to be just the beginning of these guys' education. So you're going to see some mistakes being made, but they're learning. That's why we're taking them into a parking lot of a junkyard. As you can see, there's many cars around here. I'm not sure if they're going to use all the cars today, but we're going to have a couple of them. So we got to do a couple things first. First, they got to learn how to stabilize vehicles. There's a couple different ways to do that. Whether we're just going to deflate the tires or we're going to use cribbing. If the car is on its side, how do we stabilize a car that way? So these students are going to be learning a number of different things today. One of the major keys to any vehicle rescue is having the tools to do the job. That's why today Dickson City Rescue 23 is the truck that's here. It's got a ton of tools on it. It is designed specifically for vehicle rescue. Let's take a quick moment to walk around the rescue and kind of show you the tools and where they're located. The students have to get familiar with these. Now, they are not necessarily going to be running with these fire departments, but most rescues are designed close to the same. They have the same kind of tools, cribbing, extrication equipment, such as the jaws of life. And so they need to know, where these things are hooked up, how they work, and they're going to talk about all that today. Rescue 27 is the other rescue truck that's here today. Another beautiful truck. The students will have to definitely go around each of these trucks, familiarize themselves with where each of the gear is, how to bring it out, how to set it up, and to start staging to do a proper rescue. What PA Ambulance did for us is bring some people to also play victims. So you're going to see throughout this that there are going to be people inside the vehicle. Obviously, they have safety gear on today. They'll have a helmet, they'll have some jackets, gloves, masks, anything that they feel is necessary to make sure that the quote-unquote victim is protected as these students are learning.
So, just lift up a little bit.
Do you have any pain trying to lift up for us or no? So we can slide this board under you?
No, I think I'm good.
Lift up your butt for us a little bit. Okay. All right, we're going to try to turn you over.
How you doing?
Are you able to turn over with us, or are you having too much pain in your back and neck?
I think I'll probably be fine.
It's going to be a challenge for these students to make decisions on how to remove people from vehicles, whether they need to cut doors off, whether they need to just open a door and get them out. Depending on the injuries of that patient is really going to dictate on how a patient comes out of a vehicle. Sometimes you can just open a door and they can step out. Other times you're going to have to put them on a backboard, put C-collars on, and do treatments while they're still in the vehicle. Coordination between the fire department and the EMS crews that are doing the treatments is a key component to making a successful rescue. One of the first rescues that they're doing today, just to practice, is to get a driver out of the driver's side door. There was no damage to the door, but for some reason this patient was unable to extricate themselves, so they need to put them on a backboard, put a C-collar on, and just basically get the understanding on how to move and how to communicate between the fire department and the multiple EMS personnel that are on location.
Oh, the helmet's fucking you up, that's why.
Yeah, it's really on the way.
Turn you over. Let me know when you can't hold it anymore. Start sliding. Grab it and I'll hold the board.
Said I got it?
Tell me when you're ready.
You're good. Got it.
I'm gonna start pulling you out a little more, okay?
Okay.
Chris, you got it still? Yeah.
You should get in there.
Yep, there you go.
Just slide you up more.
And then on your count. 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Up.
Alright, I'm gonna start to grab onto the board. I'm gonna start to slide them out a little more. Slide them out, bring them to the ground, then we'll regain our bearing, okay? Alright, down, Chris, lower.
Straps on. We never let go of C-spine. Never let go
Yeah,
of
whoever's at the head. No, you were at the head, bro. Yeah, hold on.
I'll grab the straps. Go ahead and set that up. Middle first.
Yep. Just make sure you're not tangled when you put it in. It'll become an issue if you are.
The helmet, that's...
Yeah, the helmet can come off, but one of you would have to hold C-spine while you take it off. He has one next.
Does he let go C-spine when we put the...
Middle upper lower. What's that?
Does he hold C-spine as we put these on?
So as you put them on, he is going to move his hands. He's going to kind of bring them out towards the top of CJ's head, and then bring them one at a time, and then push the SIDS in towards his neck. There you go. Good. Now you want to get the straps on. And C-spine doesn't get let go of until the straps are in place. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's broken anyway.
Hand me that strap.
So your lower one is going to go across the collar. Okay, we use that as your leverage point.
So put it underneath his arm.
You're gonna, yeah. Now, if he was unconscious, you would want to have it so his arms are being tied down so they're not flopping when you go to lift him. But he's conscious.
And then we could shift.
Do we need to move the board for you? Like,
I'll try. It's on you guys.
Joe, cups are good.
3, 2, 1.
you don't actually have to load in the truck.
Right here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright, what's left? On you, Chris. 3, 2.
All right, good job, guys.
Next, you're going to see the instructors go over the different tools, whether that's a glass master, an axe, a halligan, or hooligan, and they're going to show these students on how to remove glass and the different tools that can be used for that.
So we got different methods of cutting the windshield here. Quickest and most easiest way nowadays is the rhino cutters, glass cutters. We'll show you in a second how this works real quick around the window. If you have a guy on this side, just pass it off. We're gonna use the soap and water to keep the dust down. If you don't have that, you could use this battery-operated Sawzall. Same method, around the corner. It's called a Glass Master, old school hand tool. You just gotta, we'll show you how that works. Kind of like an old school saw. The very last method, if you have nothing else, you can use the flathead axe. You gotta chip away at the windshield. It takes a while. To make a purchase point, we'll use the pick head part on the Halligan bar. So Jeremy's gonna, we'll show you at the start, and then we'll have you guys use some of these tools just to get your hands on.
Before we do anything, say if we have the patient inside the car, you want to make sure that you're covering them and you're talking to them, you know what I mean? You're going to tell them there's going to be loud noise. So, and then it really doesn't matter whether you start at the top or bottom with this. So, start up here.
That's all you need is a purchase point. That your tools in there real quick.
Yeah, so it really doesn't matter. We're not going to start with that because that's the easiest. So, you want to stuff that in there like so, and then it's just, you're going to be working it like a Sawzall.
One of the most satisfying things as a vehicle rescue technician is using the tool and having you do it perfectly the first time. Take a look at this window brake. He has a center punch in a low corner. He punches it in and it immediately breaks. The students are being shown some of the less conventional pieces of equipment. This is going to be an air chisel used by an air bottle, the same kind of air bottles that you use for your SCBA on your back. You can convert that to run air tools. Check out how this works. Now that the students have learned how to remove the glass from a vehicle and keeping the patient safe inside, they now have to figure out and learn how to open the vehicle, whether that's by cutting the door latch, whether that's by cutting a post, or wedging something in between the door and doing what we call a door pop. This is the time to learn.
We already touched that, we already touched this. Probably gonna have to
Perfect. Yeah. When you're doing a vehicle extrication, it's important to make sure that we treat the patient before we start moving. So getting a good set of vital signs, getting a verbal assessment, getting a physical assessment of the patient's injuries is very important. You also have to start to do some things to stabilize this patient. Sometimes you have to crawl into the back of the vehicle and hold C-spine manually. Other times you're going to use equipment such as a C-collar to hold that C-spine. That way when you go to move the patient, you minimize the risk of further injuries. These students are learning those basics. They're taking the time to learn how to put someone on a backboard, how to properly secure them, put the head straps on or CIDs, and then get them to the ambulance for further treatment. Once a patient is removed from a vehicle, their job is not done. It only begins. They got to make sure that the patient is stabilized on the board for them to move to the ground, and then to an ambulance or to a stretcher, and then to an ambulance.
All right. Good.
I was just saying, I thought that was a good idea. That's the first thing I see.
No, I thought.
Oh, that's gross. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not good.
Remember, if you can't get them to Velcro, you can use tape or whatever you have to use to
Is that okay?
get that.
Straps look good. His hands up.
All right, so you're gonna want to get together, prepare your lift, and bring him over here. So there's 4 of you, so 2 and 2.
One feet on the other side, one at the head down.
Just watch you don't get Reese's radio stuck when you guys put them down.
Ready, guys?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Where do we bring them?
Another critical thinking aspect is trying to figure out how to remove patients that might be partially ejected from the vehicle. Not all patients are going to be wearing their seat belts and sitting in the seats that they originally started with. These cars can roll over, they can get hit sideways, and if you're not seat belted in, they're going to get thrown about, whether that's through the front windshield, whether that's into the passenger seat or into the back seat. Students and EMTs and paramedics have to understand and learn how to remove these patients properly in any position that they find them.
Slide the jacket.
I remember real people don't turn off your eyes. In the wintertime, you're going to deal with heavy coats.
3, 2, 1.
Watch out his legs.
Call the count. You got to slide it on board. 5 and 4. 3, 2, 1. Did we get one more slide going? 4 inches. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so both of these fine. Can we get some straps going? Well, let's get them on the
We
ground.
have to get him on the ground first.
So you want to get on this side, Joe? Yeah.
Slide down more, I could start grabbing this.
When we get out, you guys grab his feet, okay? Stems out for my tank.
Start working on straps. A little bit of everything.
Thank you for watching Heroes Next Door. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. It really helps us build this channel. But also hit that notification if you haven't done it yet. Part 2 is coming up next week, where we challenge these students with a scenario with multiple victims and flipping over a vehicle. Let's see how they do. We'll see you again next week.